Private. A private is where every soldier starts. Fresh out of recruitment, they head into basic combat training to learn the basics: marching, shooting, following orders, and toughening up. Drill sergeants are always on them, making sure they work as a team. It's not easy, but it's the first step to becoming a real soldier. After 6 months, they're automatically promoted to Private Second Class. With 12 months of service and 4 months in rank, they become eligible for Private First Class, moving up the ladder in their Army career. Private Second Class is the first promotion most soldiers get after basic training. At this point, they're still pretty new, but they know the basics. Their job? Follow orders, do daily tasks, and use what they learned in training. Nothing fancy, just proving they can handle it. Most soldiers hit this rank after 6 months, and if they keep it up, they'll move up to Private First Class in about a year. Private First Class is the third enlisted rank in the Army, one step up from Private Second Class, but still below Specialist. By this point, soldiers have been in for about a year, so they're not the new guys anymore. They know the basics, they follow orders, and now they're expected to handle more responsibility. Most soldiers get this rank automatically after a year, but if someone's got prior military training, they might start here right away. And if they're really crushing it, showing leadership, working hard, they might even get promoted faster. Back in the day, this rank didn't even have chevrons or arcs until 1991. From here, most move up to Specialist, but if they take the basic leader course, they can go for Corporal instead. Specialist is where things start getting serious. It's above Private First Class, but just below Corporal. Here's the deal. Specialists aren't officially non-commissioned officers, NCOs, but they're still expected to have some leadership skills. They've been around for a while, usually at least 2 years, so they know the job and help train the newer soldiers. Some soldiers get promoted to Specialist right when they enlist, especially if they've got a 4-year degree or special skills. Even though the Army sees E4 and above as a higher level, only corporals are true NCOs. Still, specialists are supposed to be experts at what they do and start preparing for leadership. If they want to move up, they've got to prove they can handle more responsibility. Corporal is one of the oldest ranks in the Army, dating back to 1775, and it's the first real leadership role. Unlike specialists, corporals are NCOs, meaning they actually lead. They're in charge of a small team, handling training, discipline, and keeping their soldiers mission ready. Promotion usually takes about 26 months, but top performers can get there faster. This rank is a key step toward becoming a Sergeant E5, proving a soldier is ready to take on bigger leadership responsibilities. Sergeant is where you go from just following orders to giving them. These guys are the backbone of the Army, leading squads and making sure soldiers are trained, disciplined, and ready to roll. They enforce standards, run daily operations, and mentor junior soldiers. Sergeants handle everything from planning and leading missions to making sure their team is combat ready. Unlike corporals who lead smaller teams, sergeants have bigger responsibilities and have to make quick decisions. You don't just get this rank, you've got to earn it with experience, leadership skills, and by completing the basic leader course. It's a big step toward moving up the ranks. Staff Sergeant is a big step up in leadership. They're not just leading soldiers, they're leading other NCOs too. They run squads, usually around 9 to 10 soldiers, and handle training, discipline, and mission planning. On top of that, they manage more equipment and help develop sergeants and junior enlisted troops. Their job is huge for keeping the unit running strong. Getting promoted to Staff Sergeant isn't automatic. You need a command recommendation, at least 84 months of service, 10 months in grade, and you've got to complete the primary leadership development course. Education-wise, a high school diploma or GED is required. This rank proves you're ready for even bigger responsibilities and sets you up for Sergeant First Class E7 and beyond. Sergeant First Class is where leadership gets even bigger. These guys are senior NCOs, usually second in command at the platoon level, working right under the platoon leader. They're not just leading soldiers, they're mentoring junior NCOs, making sure squads are running smoothly and handling mission planning. Promotion to Sergeant First Class takes experience, leadership skills, and a solid track record. You need about 15 years in service, but top performers can get there faster. At this level, you're not just following orders, you're shaping the next generation of Army leaders. Master Sergeant is a big-time leadership role, but it's more behind the scenes. Unlike First Sergeants, who are hands-on with troops, Master Sergeants focus on planning, operations, and making sure everything runs smoothly at higher levels. They're the go-to experts, advising commanders, and keeping units mission ready. This rank isn't just handed out. You need around 17 to 20 years of service, proven leadership, and serious technical skills. Master sergeants help shape how the Army operates, making key decisions that affect entire battalions and beyond. They might not be in front leading troops daily, but their impact is massive, ensuring missions succeed and soldiers stay ready for whatever comes next. First sergeant is the top enlisted leader in a company, responsible for discipline, training, and keeping soldiers mission ready. They work side by side with the company commander to ensure smooth operations, making them the backbone of company-level leadership. Unlike master sergeants who focus on planning, first sergeants are hands-on with troops daily. They enforce Army standards, mentor junior leaders, and oversee everything from physical fitness to morale. They also handle promotions, evaluations, and soldier welfare. Getting here isn't easy. Only about 1% of soldiers make it. It takes years of experience, strong leadership, and a reputation for getting things done. This rank is a major step toward becoming a sergeant major. Sergeant major. Not to be confused with the sergeant major of the Army. The sergeant major is a senior leadership role, acting as a key advisor at the battalion level and above. These guys don't just lead, they guide officers, mentor NCOs, and help shape the Army's big decisions. They're the ones commanders turn to for expert advice on training, discipline, and morale. Unlike a first sergeant who works directly with troops, a sergeant major focuses more on strategy and operations. Getting here takes years of top-tier leadership, experience, and a reputation for excellence. Command Sergeant Major is the senior enlisted leader at the brigade and division levels, responsible for advising commanders on all enlisted matters. Unlike a regular sergeant major, who serves primarily as a senior advisor at the battalion level, a CSM operates at a much higher scale, overseeing thousands of soldiers. Their key responsibilities include enforcing discipline, shaping training programs, and maintaining morale across large units. They ensure that soldiers meet Army standards, develop future leaders, and act as the voice of enlisted personnel to senior officers. CSMs also oversee promotions, awards, and soldier welfare initiatives. Reaching this rank takes 20-plus years of exceptional leadership, professionalism, and an outstanding service record. Only the Army's best earn this position. Sergeant Major of the Army is the highest enlisted rank. There's only one at a time. This person represents every enlisted soldier in the Army, advising top generals and shaping policies that affect the entire force. The SMA speaks for enlisted troops, making sure their needs, concerns, and challenges are heard at the highest levels. They travel, meet with soldiers, and keep Army leadership connected to the people who make it run. It's the ultimate enlisted leadership position, earned through decades of experience and exceptional service. Warrant Officer First Class is the first and lowest warrant officer rank in the United States Army, and it's where things get serious. These guys aren't your typical officers, they're specialists. Whether it's flying helicopters, handling intelligence, or fixing high-tech equipment, they know their stuff. At this stage, they're still getting the hang of leadership, but when it comes to their field, they're the go-to experts. They don't run big units like regular officers, but if you need a problem solved in their specialty, they're the ones to call. Chief Warrant Officer 2 is where warrant officers start stepping up. With experience under their belt, they're not just technical experts anymore, they're leaders. As intermediate-level experts, they combine technical mastery with tactical leadership. While they still focus on their specialty, like aviation, intelligence, or maintenance, they're now trusted to make bigger decisions and mentor junior warrant officers. Serving at the battalion level, they work closely with commanders, offer expert advice, and ensure smooth mission execution. They bridge the gap between enlisted personnel and commissioned officers, handling more responsibility along the way. Chief Warrant Officer 3 is the third warrant officer rank in the United States Army, a seasoned leader with years of experience. By this stage, they're not only technical experts but also trusted advisors to commanders, guiding mission planning and execution. They mentor junior warrant officers and make high-level decisions in their field, whether it's aviation, intelligence, or maintenance. CW3s are responsible for overseeing complex operations, ensuring smooth execution, and maintaining mission readiness. They're the go-to professionals, respected for their technical mastery and leadership abilities. Chief Warrant Officer 4 is the fourth warrant officer rank in the United States Army and is a top-tier expert in their field. They've been around for years and don't just do the job, they teach it. Whether it's aviation, intelligence, or high-tech systems, they're the go-to pros. At this level, they advise commanders, make big decisions, and mentor younger warrant officers. They typically operate at battalion, brigade, division, corps, and higher levels, playing a key role in mission planning and execution. When it comes to strategy and problem solving, CW4s are the ones people trust. Chief Warrant Officer 5 is the rarest and highest warrant officer rank in the United States Army, is as high as it gets for warrant officers. These are the absolute best in their field. Technical masters and top-tier advisors. They've spent years perfecting their craft and are trusted at the highest levels of command. CW5s operate at brigade, division, corps, and even Army-wide levels, shaping policy, strategy, and mission execution. They don't just solve problems, they help prevent them. If there's a complex issue that needs an expert's touch, a CW5 is the one people call. Second lieutenant is where officers start out, leading a platoon of about 15 to 50 soldiers or working as a staff officer. But leading a platoon is the real proving ground. They usually stay in this role for 12 to 24 months before moving up. Even though they're in charge, they lean on experienced NCOs, like the platoon sergeant and squad leaders, to help execute orders and training. Their main job? Planning, supervising, and making sure the mission gets done while learning how to be an effective leader. First lieutenant is a key leadership role where officers either command a platoon of 15 to 50 soldiers or serve as staff officers. Leading a platoon is critical for promotion to captain and helps build tactical expertise. In this role, they plan operations, supervise soldiers, and work closely with senior non-commissioned officers. First lieutenants often transition to staff roles after gaining platoon experience, preparing for higher leadership responsibilities. It's all about gaining hands-on leadership and getting ready for the next step. Captains are in charge of a company, typically leading 100 to 200 soldiers. They handle everything from planning missions to ensuring their troops are properly trained and resourced. Captains are responsible for mission success, managing logistics, coordinating training schedules, and enforcing discipline with the help of the first sergeant. They make decisions that impact their unit's readiness and morale, working closely with senior leaders and other units. Captains also play a key role in soldier development, providing guidance, mentorship, and supporting their team's growth. After serving as company commanders for a few years, they may transition to staff positions at higher levels or get promoted to Major, O4, where they take on even greater responsibilities. Majors hold the O4 rank and serve as key staff officers at battalion or brigade level, helping ensure everything runs smoothly in operations. They often take on roles like Operations Officer, S3, or Executive Officer, XO, where their experience from previous leadership roles like Platoon Leader and Company Commander really comes into play. Their job is to connect the smaller units with higher command, making sure the right resources and strategies are in place for mission success. Majors also stay on top of their professional development, attending graduate school or courses to prepare for bigger roles down the line. Lieutenant colonels are in charge of battalions, 300 to 1,000 soldiers, and hold one of the most influential leadership roles in the Army. Appointed by the Secretary of the Army, they're the final authority on everything their unit does or fails to do. They command battalion-sized units or serve as senior staff officers at higher levels, handling planning, resourcing, and operations. A command sergeant major supports them, advising on leadership and discipline. Unlike company-grade officers, lieutenant colonels don't lead soldiers directly. They oversee the big picture, making sure all subordinate units work together to accomplish the mission. Colonels, one of the most prestigious ranks in the Army, are in charge of brigades, about 3,000 to 5,000 soldiers, which is a massive jump in responsibility. They oversee everything from training and operations to logistics and mission execution. At this level, it's all about strategy and big-picture leadership. They work closely with their staff and a command sergeant major to make sure everything runs smoothly. Some colonels also serve in high-level staff positions, advising senior commanders. This rank is a stepping stone to the general officer level, but only the best make it that far. A brigadier general is the first step into the Army's top leadership ranks. As a one-star general, O7, they either command a brigade or serve as a deputy commander for a division, overseeing 5,000 to 14,000 soldiers. This role is less about direct leadership and more about shaping strategy, making big-picture decisions and working closely with major generals. Achieving this rank is highly selective. Only those with exceptional leadership and experience make it. It's a major transition into the highest levels of Army command. A major general is a two-star general in charge of a division, which can range from 10,000 to 15,000 soldiers. They're responsible for high-level strategy, planning, and coordination to ensure their division is mission-ready. They oversee the training of soldiers, coordinate logistics, and make critical decisions on operations. Major generals also work closely with brigade commanders to ensure each unit is executing their part of the mission. At this level, it's all about big-picture thinking, leading large-scale operations and making decisions that affect the entire division. Reaching this rank requires a long track record of exceptional leadership and experience. A lieutenant general is a senior officer, usually commanding a corps, 20,000-plus soldiers, or overseeing major commands like TRADOC or FORSCOM. They're responsible for coordinating large-scale operations, making big-picture decisions on logistics, training, and strategy. Some also serve in specialized roles like being the superintendent at West Point. You don't just get here overnight. It takes years of leadership and success at lower ranks. This role is usually a senior officer's final assignment before they retire, as it's considered a key position in the Army's command structure. A general, O10, is as high as it gets in the Army, the ultimate leadership role. These four-star commanders run entire Army components, shaping strategy, operations, and military policy at the highest levels. They're appointed by the President with input from the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of the Army. Generals lead major organizations like TRADOC and FORSCOM, or serve as the Chief of Staff of the Army. Getting here takes decades of exceptional leadership, with only a select few ever making it. General of the Army is the highest rank in the U.S. Army. It's a 5-star position that's only awarded in wartime, kind of like a field marshal in other countries. This rank is above 4-star generals and is given only during national crises. The person who holds it oversees Army-wide strategy and deployments. The rank was first introduced in 1866, and legendary leaders like Ulysses S. Grant, William Tecumseh Sherman, and Philip Sheridan held it. During World War II, big names like George C. Marshall, MacArthur, and Eisenhower earned it. Omar Bradley was the last to hold it in 1950, and since then, it hasn't been used. Still, it represents the ultimate in military leadership and is granted only when the commander-in-chief sees it as necessary for the nation's defense.